America is yes, we are witnessing the fall. The number one thing that shows me that, which most Americans don't even pay attention to, is the birth rates. When you can't naturally repopulate and have your birth rates match the population that you need to go further on the earth, that's a tall tale sign that eventually the society will be no more. Now, of course, the Gates and them folks, they tell you, oh, the world's overpopulated. Oh, but then here we are in these Western nations, and they're now saying, oh, we're running out of humans in these Western nations. Like, what do we do? How do we reverse this? That's number one. Number two, we can even talk about health. We were speaking about this during yesterday's life. During yesterday's live, not live.
Yeah,
Oh
yesterday's
gosh.
life too. You think about it. Yeah.
During yesterday's live, we were speaking about how high blood pressure, heart attacks, all these things are rampant in America, not just in our community, in regular white American communities as well. And so this is number two. Like when you see these two things occurring where it's like you can't repopulate, healthcare is going down, the quality of life is going down, you can't sustain yourself or a society long term with those things happening in the world. And so that is where the collapse, and we haven't even got into the economic part. We haven't got into the geopolitical part. We haven't got into the tensions with Russia, China, the resources that were being funneled out of America into Ukraine. The fact that just a while ago, when they used to talk about the California wildfires, Biden, before he left, was giving them $770 if their house had burned down. Now, these are all things that tell you that a society is impending collapse. Now the new leader is there in America and he's trying to pause it. He's trying to ramp it back up. He even said it himself during the inauguration. To be quite honest, he said, like, America's failing. Like, it's on a downward spiral that can't be stopped. And he's like, well, I'm going to try and stop it. But I have a question for you. Is this the new beginning or is this the collapse? What is this inside of America right now?
Yeah, that's a question that you got to ask yourself. Like, really, it's a lot going on. For me, it's a lot of confusion. So one day it's this, the next day it's another thing. So confusion is not good. It's not good to be confused. It should be just a lot of common sense that should be made. So yes, America is collapsing, and you just got to be in the right environment to know that. If you are in that confusion, if you are in that environment, you're really not gonna know that it's collapsing. Or you might know, but I guess the viewers that see this, they probably do know,
Hmm.
but the resources is not there to get out of America. So you really got to seek the Most High and ask Him for a strategy to get out the West. So this is a pivotal time.
Yeah, that's good. Something else I was listening earlier to somebody listened to for biblical teaching and stuff like that, and she was talking about from a healthcare perspective. And it takes me back to the days when I worked on in mental health. I used to work on night shift in a mental health hospital in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, shout out to Columbus, Ohio. But there was this saying. Actually, no, it was Stephen Darby. I was listening to Stephen Darby, may he rest in peace, but he was saying, I think it was a video from 11 years ago or something like that. He said the agenda in America is going to be that everybody is going to have some type of medication or some type of syndrome. They're going to say this person's bipolar, this person's depressed, this person is that, to get everybody drugged out and dependent on this system. Just from a healthcare and a medical standpoint, a society can collapse just on that basis because if the mind is not right, you can't function. You can't be a functioning human if you're always on anxiety medications, always on depressive medicines. You won't even think that you're able to get out of America because you're now dependent on pharmakia, which is sorcery witchcraft, where they're allowing these entities to be deposited into your brain. You think it's helping your symptoms, but it's actually just another entity that's soothing your symptoms the way that alcohol or any other type of drug does, right? And so that, just from a fundamental biological perspective, shows you when people can't function, you have a society where most people are on mental medications. That's a dangerous society. We didn't even get into the school shootings. We didn't even get into the violence. We
So
didn't even get into the LGBT. We didn't get into the fake food.
well, that's not no more. So Can't you don't got work.
It is
That's
there.
about to be crazy.
I
When you say
mean,
that,
you
that's
gonna
hard. That's
see.
hard to think about. It's hard to think
They
about.
still gonna be there. Why? Because
Yeah.
the root of LGBT is molestation. But people don't talk about that. There's a huge lustful problem in America, especially in the church. But everybody says, well, this is the best nation on earth. These aren't attributes of the best nation. These are attributes of a fallen society. Look at ancient Greece. They were big on molestation. They were big on pharmakia. That's where that word comes from. They were big on those things, and they turned out to be a society that hit a rapid decline and could not increase. Now, is Greece still there? Yeah, you can go visit Greece, but it's not what it used to be. So, will America still be there? Of course. It'll still be on the map, but it's going to be way different than what it used to be.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Shalom. Shalom, family. We about to play this video that we're gonna share with you guys. So make sure you like the video, leave your comments in the this or not the description, the comment section, and let us know your thoughts. So good.
Yep. Now this is from what channel is this called again? This is
Mm-hmm.
it was just here. Let me see. Middle Nation. Shout out to Middle Nation. This is a good video. It's an eye opener, y'all. We gonna watch it together.
That speech. So when you watch that, you have to
Be patient with your internet. But yeah, y'all, we gonna wait for this video to
be able to see how the the A National OCGFC are operating, and why Trump is their man. I mean, I've been telling you for 3 years, going on 3 years, that there's a destabilization campaign against Europe.
Mhm.
That's what the Ukraine war actually is. It's a proxy war being waged by the United States, not against Russia, but against Europe. I've been telling you that they're turning on each other. The West is turning on itself. I've been telling you that America is going to become more and more.
We got pause right there. Do y'all hear this? Like, really let this soak in. The Western nations are turning on themselves. Now, this aligns with a certain prophecy in the Bible, Joel 3, where it's like the Most High says, I'm going to redeem my remnant. I'm allow them to escape all the people of the islands of the sea, all the people beyond the rivers of Cush, which happens to be a continent called Africa. Huh? Now, look at Joel 3. Listen to what he's saying. He's saying, okay, these Western nations are going to turn on themselves. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's proceed.
Like I was saying, it's that confusion. It's like I'm not sure what book it's in, but it's talking about how they was going to battle and the armies came together at night and killed themselves.
Mm.
Interested in creating conflict in the West, not in the global South. I've been telling you that the historical roles of the global North and the global South are going to be reversed. Didn't I tell you that? Well, look at the last Trump press conference. He's talking about destroying Canada economically. He's talking about trying to force them into submission. That's what all this talk is really about. He's talking about making the whole country into an American state, and he's talking about doing the same thing with Greenland. Except with Greenland, he even said that they might use military force to do it. So that's a direct threat against the EU.
Y'all, we've been saying recently, we said this on the live yesterday. If you don't look at history, specifically, I want you to look at European history. Why am I saying that? People say, oh my gosh, I don't know. You need to look at European history so that you can understand the things that are about to happen. Because this is a principality, it's a power that is doing the same thing that has always done, but this time it doesn't get to do it to Africa. This time it is inclining on itself. Okay? Like, really pay attention to history. Everything you need, one, is written in the Bible. Two, in Deuteronomy it says, ask the forefathers and they'll tell you. That means that symbolism telling you, hey, let me go look and see what was so I can understand what's coming and understand these dynamics. And just so everybody knows, there's this very Christian notion that the Most High doesn't care about politics, but the Most High cares about everything that happens on his earth because it's his earth, his vessels, his people, his plants, his air. So let's just put that into perspective.
And they've taken it as such. He's literally saying that America could potentially use military force.
What do you think about that? Military force against Green? I thought he said
against a European country in order to seize.
Just say something to them just real quick.
We'll switch the internet so we can see it, but it's just interesting because, during the inaugural thing that happened, he was like, yeah, we're not going to be spending money on no more wars. There's definitely a clear hey.
Yeah, guys, let us know if you guys are still with us. Let us know if you still can hear us, see us. Put a 1 in the chat and let us know. We just had to, turn the Wi-Fi off.
Yeah, there's definitely a clear hey, this is what's going on. We are on code. Y'all see how happy Elon was, and you just ask yourself, okay, what do they know that I don't know? And what do I need to know that I don't know? Okay, what do you need to know that you don't know? Like, get some prophetic vision, get some discernment, and all you're get an understanding, and pray to understand the things that are coming to the Western nations. Why do I say the Western nations? Because the Most High literally says, give Babylon double for her trouble. If we look at Revelations 18 and we really just sit and look at it and get like the spider web of Christianity and witchcraft out of our mind and say, okay, he's saying gold, diamonds, spices, slaves. Oh, this is what you're judging Babylon? And then you understand that the Great Britain Empire, the Germanic Empire, the Germanic tribes, the Spaniards, all these people were in cahoots, according to also Psalms 83 agrees with history. We're in cahoots to scatter certain nations of the earth. And then as you travel, you start to see, oh, these slave trades didn't start with the Atlantic slave trade. You had the East African Arab slave trade. Oh, you had a slave trade in Mauritius and India. Oh, you had the indigenous of Australia that had to go into these schools and to be put under this certain ban, under this same colonial power. But let's keep listening.
Territory from them, seize European territory. Well, that's nothing but colonization. What he's talking about with regards to Canada, that's nothing but colonization. The man is talking about occupying, colonizing, and pillaging other Western countries, the resources of other Western countries. He called the border between Canada and the U.S. an artificially drawn line. I mean, Putin didn't even say that about Ukraine. Meanwhile, the border with Mexico, that isn't artificial at all. It's just an artificial border between Canada and America. Greenland and Canada get to become American states. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico is called a floating island of garbage at a Trump campaign rally over the summer. So Puerto Rico is trash, and the Mexican border needs a wall, but the border with Canada is just an imaginary line. It doesn't really exist. Now, the obvious racism is just that. It's obvious. But if you think about it a little bit more deeply, there's a reason for drawing a demarcation line like this, what Trump is trying to do. The U.S. empire is looking at subjugating the northern hemisphere, and the southern hemisphere is no longer any of their business. It's out of their sphere of influence. In fact, the southern hemisphere is the ascendant hemisphere. I mean, did you notice how his press conference, how it began? What he did at what the real reason for the press conference was? He was talking about the UAE pumping in $20 billion of investment into the United States. I mean, imagine.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about this previously on this channel. Most Americans don't know. We didn't know it before because we weren't as geopolitically aware as we are now that we're more traveled and more cultured and understanding of different dynamics throughout the earth. But growing up in America, we just assumed, okay, the American dollar has to be number one. The US passport has to be number one. But we find out, wait, the Kuwait dinar, the Dubai United Arab Emirates dollar, whatever their currency is, and a few other currencies in the Middle East are stronger than USD. In fact, there are even some Scandinavian currencies that are stronger than USD. And so we start to unpeel and unravel like, wait a minute, we've been sold a whole lie. We've been sold this America's the best place. But then you explore and find out, wait, y'all don't idolize America outside the West the way America makes you think they do. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes, but when you grow up in the West, they don't teach you that. Nobody teaches you that in school. You learn about the Boston Tea Party. You had to make the savages more civilized, right? Even though they had their own civilization, you had to enslave the West Africans because they were in the jungles, even though they had their own civilizations and pristine mansion mud houses, some of the best kingdoms that you could find in the Dark Ages at that time. And so it's just very curious. It's very interesting. But as he was saying, the northern hemisphere is declining and the southern hemisphere is increasing. And so you have to ask yourself, okay, what hemisphere do I want to be in when all of this occurs, as all of this is happening? Because it's already happening. What do you think of what he said about the southern hemisphere?
It's happening. I look. It's just one of those things that if you know, you know. You just gotta. It's obvious. Just how at the beginning we was talking about the birth rates is declining. You got to realize what BRICS is doing. Is the B is for Brazil. If Mexico is not part of America, where's Mexico going to be at? They're probably going to blend in with Brazil pretty smooth. So hey, you gotta think 10 years ahead. You really do.
Yes, let's go to some more of this video because it's a good perspective. It's really interesting the things that he talks about because the world is starting to see it. The world is starting to wake up. They're starting to understand, hey, things are not how we thought it was.
We're already at this point. We're already at the point where an American president is bragging about successfully attracting foreign direct investment from the global South into America. I mean, this is usually the kind of thing that a president in the global South would be bragging about, being able to attract.
That's true.
Foreign investment. But now you have the president of the United States or the president-elect of the United States being proud and bragging about the UAE opening up data centers in his country. Role reversal. It's actually really interesting to me. It's interesting to watch all of this play out, alhamdulillah, in our lifetime. We're seeing a major change. Basically, the neocons, the nationalistic OCGFC, are being placated. This is what Trump is doing. They're being redirected to feed their cannibalistic appetites on other Anglo-Saxons. I mean, this was the West's primary activity for centuries. Before they ever invaded our lands, they just cannibalized each other. That was the main pastime. So we're coming full circle. I mean, of course, the neocons need to maintain a fantasy of power. And I think that that's partly what's going on with Trump's.
Y'all, he hit that right on the head. Oh my gosh. Guys, He hit that right on the head from a historical standpoint, specifically where he's talking about Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, being happy that they're going to invest in America. Typically, the roles reversed, and it would be like a Middle Eastern, an Asian, an African country saying, "Yes, I'm so glad America is investing billions in AI." If you're unaware, the United Arab Emirates said they're investing. Was it? I want to get the right number. It's like millions. It's a big figure into creating data stations. Does anybody know what these
500
data
billion
stations are? 500 billion?
or a million, maybe.
Let's look up the number. Does anybody know what these data stations are going to do? I want you to think about Meta. I want you to think about this pool of tug of war of TikTok. I want you to think about Twitter, which Elon owns. I want you to think about those data centers and understand whoever controls data is a currency in the age of internet. So whoever holds and controls data controls a big part of the market. Now, also understand Middle Eastern currencies are stronger than US dollar. Yes, you heard that right. If you make a Middle Eastern currency, you have more for your Middle Eastern currency than you do in America. That's not a number one top world society. Now, you see how Dubai didn't say that they're doing that to Switzerland. They didn't say they're doing that to Finland. They didn't even say that they're doing that to Great Britain. But they're doing that to America. Why? America has come to this forefront where she's like, I can't keep up with this debt. I'm trillions of dollars in debt. The American people are millions of dollars in debt. The gov is millions of dollars in debt. That's why he announced we're not hiring any more IRS workers. It's like, wake up, wake up today and understand what these things mean and start to ask yourself, okay, what does this mean? When Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, is coming in to fund data centers that they run in America. When has that ever happened in history? It hasn't, because America was on the quote unquote top of the world, but we're entering a new time now. And the question is this America's collapse? Is it a new beginning or a new downfall? I mean, it's a new beginning for certain nations of the world. But for America, it's a little different. It's a little like, okay, this is different. I know the chat's quiet. Y'all soaking this in. Y'all like, wait a minute. I'm learning today. We learning something new.
Yeah, and it just depends on you. It depends on the person that, hey, if you want that, that's what you're going to get. But if you don't, you really got to, that's what we keep saying. You really got to think about 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. How is America going to look? How is the whole world going to look? So if you want that technology, AI in your face, robots in your face, that's on you. But if you don't, you better plan now, because it's not about to be a good thing. It's not going to be something that you would want to stick around for.
Y'all, we got bad news. We just looked up the data. CBS News, my bad. Y'all been out America, so I don't know what news channels they are. But guess where these data centers are going to be, y'all? I'm going to name the states. One of them is the state that we are from, Ohio, okay? The DAMAC Properties is primarily a real estate developer. Since when are real estate developers so interested in data? I digress. Plans to invest in new data centers across Texas, Arizona, Oklahoma, Ohio, Illinois, Louisiana, Michigan, and Indiana. So that's where it's taking place. I think it's interesting how they didn't plan on doing that in New York or LA. One thing that I will say is that Ohio specifically has, strong military bases. Okay. If you're from Ohio, I'm not sure about Texas, maybe Texas with the border, Arizona, not too sure. Oklahoma, not too sure, but it's happening. And Trump was happy about it. And baby, you're right. It's not millions. It's at least 20 billion in US data centers. And I just wonder what they're going to be doing in those data centers. Trump, he's happy to announce it. He was like, yes, finally we get some money into this economy. because an economy can't stand when you're just debt, 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 debt. That's why it's so important to leave America behind, leave consumerism behind, learn to be a real human. Because in Africa, in Asia, in Eastern Europe, you don't just squander all your money. You don't just have no self control. You save. Moving to Africa made us much better with finances, much better with saving, investing, building. Like we just didn't have this knowledge in America because they teach you a bunch of trash in school. They teach you, the isosceles triangle, and it's like, when are you going to use this stuff? But you don't even know how to save money. You don't even know how to make a decision. That's why you must leave the West behind, just from a simple human standpoint. I need to learn how to be a human because in the West, it's a bunch of robots and you're indoctrinated. That's why the first thing that they planted, even in Australia, in the indigenous communities, are schools. Why? Because if I can control a child's brain early on, I can teach them how to think. I can teach them they don't need to be an entrepreneur. They need to work for me and depend on me their entire life. Their entire lineage should be focused on white supremacy. We got hit it deep today, y'all, because people gotta wake up. Unless you don't want to wake up. It's a choice, but at the end of the day, these things are coming to pass. That 20 billion, you know, 20 billion invested in America, it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's just so much distractions that's happening. How can I put it? It's just so much where it's like if it's not what did I say? If it's not college football, because I
Gosh.
recently been seeing that, I'm like, dang, okay, Ohio State winning, and I'm like, dang, I'm starting to get distracted. I'm looking it up. I'm like, oh man, I forgot. Like stuff like that is really still going on. I just saw a what's the next holiday that's coming? Valentine's Day. They starting to advertise for Valentine's Day. It's like it's not going to stop. It's going to be so much distractions that's going to continue to happen. And if those holidays distractions don't get you, drama in our community going to get you. If that don't get you,
Coonery.
yeah, like it's gonna be so much distraction where it's like, man, you really got to put your focus somewhere where it's gonna matter in the future, where it's gonna help your the next generation, where it's gonna really um, be a benefit for your lineage. Like it's not time to,
Be in the clouds.
yeah, like it's really not, because this stuff is moving fast and they moving without you. Like they don't care. They don't care about what you got to say. They don't care about your opinion. So you're gonna have to care enough that the Most High is waking you up this day, and He's allowing you to understand this and see what's going on. Now it's your turn to act. Now it's your turn to act physically. Like you physically got to move. You physically got to do this. It's not no more. It's not no more waiting around. It's
Yeah.
really not.
Yeah. And everybody can see it. Different nations can
Yeah,
see
put it
it.
like that. Different nations, like it's crazy when you get outside of America, like they pretty much making fun of Americans. And for us, just say if I go down the street and they say, "Oh, you from America?" Oh, this and that, and it's like, that's not me. Just say if they see me because I'm a black man in America, they probably say, "Oh, what's up, my NIGGA or something like that," and it's like, no, you look at me totally different.
Yeah, that happens in Dar es Salaam
Yeah, that
because they
happens. Yeah,
plaster Jay-Z, but
exactly.
the media sways people like, oh, so like everybody's like Jay-Z and Beyonce, or everybody's, and it's like it's all just a pile of lies that it's just a disease. The
It
whole
really
Western
is.
system is a disease that you work your entire life to be rid of. It's literally a matrix society.
You just gotta really get out. You gotta care enough for yourself and your family, the next generation, your lineage. To it starts with you. It really starts with you. No matter how old you are, no matter if you today you just turned 18, or you've been hearing this stuff and you at 70-year-old, like you're at 70 years young now. Like it's time to act. It's not time to wait around and
Yeah.
just wait for the next chaos thing, the next confusion thing to come out.
And guess who is going to be working in the data center?
Robots.
You.
Oh,
You are going to be working for the Arabs. You, right?
just,
The vice president is from Ohio. He's like, yeah, get them jobs. You
Wait.
are the one that is working the overseas jobs now that are brought into America in the data center. What? In Ohio, Louisiana, Michigan, Illinois. Because there's such a deficit, America has not produced her own in a long time. But wasn't he just saying, oh, we're going to go back to producing our own? Next day, oh, look, Dubai is going to produce for us. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. I looked at the article and they're saying Ohio means jobs is excited because there's no jobs in Ohio. So they're like, yeah, bring in the Dubai data center, the real estate data center, so that the Americans can work
Didn't he
there.
say that he was
Because
gonna?
they ain't got a choice. Y'all need Americans need money, right?
Didn't he say he's gonna fund businesses in Ohio too?
Yeah.
He passed something.
No, he was saying that Ohio is the best place to start a small business. That's why he picked the governor as the vice president. So yeah, they seeing, oh, Americans don't produce anything. The food's fake. The soil's cursed and rotten. So we gonna have to pull in some extra. You gonna have to pull in some extra people, some extra international legs and arms that have a stronger currency than USD. Like let that marinate. These nations have a stronger currency than USD. We need you as an American to work there, but you believe you're on the top of the world. Those two things cannot both be true. It's either you're on the top of the world and you employ people of other nations, or you're not on the top of the world and somebody has to come in and employ you.
Outlandish suggestion. It's giving them something to dream about while they create nightmares for everyone else. I mean, the suggestion that the United States could just take Canada, take Greenland, it may sound absurd, but it actually reveals something far deeper than just the mere posturing of a braggart. This is in the imperial DNA of the Western power structure, a system that has absolutely thrived on the subjugation of others' lands, others' resources, and other people for centuries. This isn't just about geography. This is about desperation on the part of the West, on the part of America. It's about a crumbling empire that's grasping at fantasies to try to reclaim relevance as its power slips away. To entertain the idea of annexing Canada or annexing Greenland or both in the 21st century is clinging to a mindset that belongs in the colonial past. It's obviously geopolitically absurd to try to do something like this today with all of the alliances and the sovereignties that are at play. But the point isn't whether this is feasible or not. It's that the very notion itself reflects an empire that is incapable of adapting to a world that is no longer defined by its dominance. The United States is not asserting strength here, it's telegraphing fear. This isn't a serious proposal. It's a tantrum dressed up as a strategy. It's the instinct of a predator whose fangs have fallen out, and they're lashing out in vain as his prey slips through its fingers. In my opinion, Trump is giving the neocons a fantasy of America, as a great giant imperial landmass like China or the former Soviet Union, a landmass of majority white people. That's important because as so-called minorities, or rather as members of the global majority who happen to live in America, as they are increasingly becoming the collective majority of that country, in other words, as white people are gradually becoming the largest minority in America, well, racists in America have a demographic problem, similar to the Zionists. But unlike the Zionists, if America starts annexing territory in the Northern Hemisphere, well, that's territory that has its own kind in it. They have their own kind there. Now, if the Zionists seize territory, well, it's not filled with Jews. In fact, they don't even have enough Jews in the world. There's not even enough Jews on earth to fill the territory that they want, or even the territory that they already have. But if America takes Canada, if America takes Greenland, well, then the white population of the new United States empire would be at least increased by a few percentage points, which matters to them, maybe more if Canada adopts a mass deportation policy like America. See, it's almost like they're trying to gather all their own kind together and either expel or refuse entry to the so-called racial and so-called ethnic demographic groups of the global majority who they never liked. That's actually something that the global majority should be happy about, to be honest. The global majority should be happy about that. You should be happy about the anti-immigration policies, frankly, because they're literally trying to keep you off of a sinking ship while they're telling everyone else who's stuck on board that ship that it was the weight that was making them sink, not the gaping hole in the side of the vessel. In other words, they're lying to their own people about what's really happening and why their ship is going down.
Ooh. They're lying to their own people about what's really happening and why the sinking ship is going down. If you do not understand the words that we are speaking, the words that he is speaking, the words that others are speaking, then you are in that foolish majority that can't even comprehend and is under this delusion of everything's great, you know, everything's fantastic in Massa's house. It'll never go down. It's Massa. It's like, I'm like, y'all, we got like, come on now. It's not 1802. It's 2025. And we were talking about this earlier at lunch. Why is it like our community is on this cycle that they can't get out of? It's like watching from the outside. We're on this, you doing the same stuff over. You're saying, oh, Massa's great. Oh, this is great. No, best place. Yeah, keep trusting in Massa. It'll be great. And it's like, you don't see everything that's going on in the world, but it'd be the same people. It's like, no, we can't look at the news. It's gonna stress us out.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
then
really
I
just
don't know what to
trusting.
tell you.
It's just how he was saying, like, there's a whole, just put it like this, because this how I be thinking. So stay with me. Um, it's like if a hole's in the side of a boat, right? And you clearly see it. You clearly see water coming in. And then the master of the boat comes over and say, "Don't worry, I'm going to tape it up. I'm a duct tape it. I'm gonna duct tape it." And you be like, "Okay, master, good, go ahead, please." Then you turn back around to your people. He got it under control. He's gonna tape it up. He's gonna tape the hole the hole in the side of the boat. He's gonna tape it, guys. So it's nothing to worry about. And we know dang well, no tape is gonna hold up a big old hole in the side of the boat.
It might pause it for a moment, but the ship's gonna sink. The Titanic's gonna go down.
And that's what's really happening right now. Like really, you can't. It's no more look, and that's just what it is. You can't. You gotta take your trust out of that and believe in what they say they're gonna do, and believe in the Most High and put your trust in the Most High.
Wow.
Like it's literally that.
Yeah.
So it's that. Like we believe in all this stuff of this world, and not believe in the Creator of this world.
Ooh.
It's very simple, and our people is just stuck. People in general is just stuck. So
Yeah.
that's just a big problem. Even somebody said, I know America have problems. I think it's important for you to share the problem of Africa. We talking about the same problem. It's very spiritual. It's
the
more of
same
a
problem.
it's very spiritual. It's nobody's really putting their trust in the Most High. So it's going to be it's going to be curses just falling right in front of people's face, and they're going to be dealing with the curses of the Most High.
But I think the flip side with prophecy is that the Most High has declared that He visits and saves the oppressed of the earth.
Mm.
And when He looks at the earth and He sees where the oppressed are, He's looking at Africa. He's looking at the Aboriginals in Australia. He's looking at the dark-skinned Indian peoples that have been oppressed. He's looking at the Afro-Iranians. He's looking at the Afro-Arabians that they put and say, oh, just hide them behind the scenes. Don't let them know. The oppressed always win in the end. The last will be first and the first will be last. But for a fact, if you are first in this world, oh Western society, you will be last in the world to come. If you're even in the world to come. If you receive the grace to even be in that world. Because as the world stands right now, Nigeria just joined BRICS. Does anybody know how powerful Nigeria is economically and human capital wise? That pushes BRICS from 37% of the world's population to 55%. BRICS takes up 55% of the world's population. That's enormous. That is history making. That's never happened
and
before.
If you know about Nigeria and America used Nigeria as a puppet in a way for Africa. So if Nigeria is stepping away from the hands of America in the West,
ooh,
it's something happening. Something is happening right now.
Ooh,
something is really happening right now.
I'm just grateful to be alive in these times and to be in the right place.
You got to be in the right place.
Man, it's so beautiful.
Because it's happening right in front of our eyes. Like, for real. It's happening right in front of our eyes.
It's so
and you gotta
beautiful.
You got to know, hey, we don't just be talking about stuff just to be talking. Like, the Most High didn't allow us to know certain things and discern certain things and understand certain things for no reason. And then we come on here and share with you guys, the viewers here. So, like, really, it's something big is happening.
You gotta wake up.
Something huge.
Wake
something
up.
big is happening. Like, for real. Like, it's happening. It's really
already happening. Y'all see France is about to be completely booted out West Africa. They're like, you look, the next day it'd be Senegal, it'd be Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. What? Who's next? And they saying, oh, come on home, brothers and sisters. We need y'all to help us build. Fantastic. We'll come right back.
Right.
Just say the word. We got your back. What's up? What you need?
Burkina Faso in BRICS?
Not yet. I don't know. But I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, can you try to look that up real quick?
Okay.
Yeah, so just imagine if I know Burkina Faso is that everybody's looking at Burkina Faso right now, and they have a relationship with Russia already. They're trading amongst Russia. So everything that's happening in West Africa right now is happening for a reason where Burkina Faso is literally getting in people's the leader's head, like, yeah, we're not gonna do this no more. So it's gonna be a snap of a finger. It's gonna flip once Burkina Faso join BRICS, because all the west of Africa is gonna flip and join BRICS.
Yeah.
Fast. It's gonna be quick, and everybody's gonna be like, oh snap, I didn't see this coming, but you did.
And then how the Most High works in Africa, he'd be like, Europeans try so much to curse the continent. Westerners try so much to curse the continent. He's like, actually, I'm going to increase their population. I'm going to bring diamonds out the ground. I'm going to bring gold. I'm going to bring tanzanite. I'm going to bring every type of resource they could find. So even when the nations say, oh, it's so poor, it ain't that poor. If there's diamonds in the backyard that they pulling up, is it that poor? When there's copper.
It's really like these other nations probably been here digging for years, getting their little minerals and stuff, and then soon as they get kicked out, what happens? They dig one hole and find the biggest diamond.
The Most High is with Africa. He says, I never left the motherland. I never left Eden.
The biggest diamond.
The Most High doesn't leave the motherland. He never has left the motherland. How can you explain these different nations attempting to enslave, exterminate through medical means, rob, pillage, destroy, and yet Africans still repopulating? We still having 4 children on average. We still repopulating, still have the highest marriage rates, still have the highest people that believe in the Most High of any continent on earth, still living in a land of milk and honey where we look out, oh, look at all this moringa. Look at all these mangoes, organic food. Look at all this. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, the Most High has always been with Africa. And at this time, not only is he not leaving Africa, but he's going to increase her drastically beyond what the other nations can even comprehend. And it's going to be like, how did this happen? And the children of Africa, we just going to say, hallelujah, hallelujah. The Most High has returned.
What's the name of the video person?
I have to look at the channel. So the channel is Middle Nation. Okay, check out Middle Nation to see their videos. And yeah, y'all, it's a great time. But we foresaw this time back in 2015. Yeah. We foresaw this coming before we even heard about BRICS, before there was ever a move back to Africa citizenship movement. We foresaw this, and we were like, okay, let's open our business online. Let's become self-reliant, self-sufficient. Let's learn how to take care of ourselves, homeschool. Let's learn healthcare. Let's learn all these things we need to know so that we will be ready when it's time to leave. In the Most High 2019, he taps and says, all right, my children, you going home.
Yeah, you about to have 2 babies.
You about to increase in the motherland, exceedingly beyond what you could ask or comprehend. And no man could stop it.
Yeah, you can't. You really can't stop it. Like,
you can't
when the Most High
stop it.
tell you to do something, you got to do it. So I see a comment here. Somebody said, I'm staying right here in America. And it's crazy how, like, it's just 2 different people. If you want to stay there, you stay there. You know, it's no hard feelings. But, you know, we might plant these seeds in people that want to go. So it's just that. It's 2 different people. If you want to stay, go ahead and stay. But if the Most High is calling you to leave now, it's time to leave now. And it's proof. We are living proof. We are trying to tell people, you know, we are testimonies of it can work. And
it does work.
Yeah, it does work. And this is what you got to do. Like we tell people time after time.
And the work is working because the Most High got his hand all over it. His right arm. Does anybody know who the right arm of Yah is? Y'all, it's just a good time. Like, I just love African history. I love looking at things that have happened, seeing the retribution that the Most High is bringing and is about to bring. Even looking at the history of Ethiopia, the beliefs there, looking at how Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger are standing up. It's just such a beautiful time. It's the time that I believe our ancestors prayed for as they were shipped out on those slave ships, wishing they could come back home, but also having that prayer, okay, if I don't get to come back home, maybe somebody in my lineage will. We are the manifestation of those prayers that the Most High answered and said, yes, your lineage will survive. Your lineage will return back home.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it.
And this day, people don't think about lineage as much like back in the day, like, because that's what it was all about. That was all. Look,
yeah,
I can't wait to see my great grandchildren.
Yeah,
and it's like, man, people don't even think like that no more.
Yeah, it's so true and it's so sad. But that's why they had to take our names, because when you look at lineage, then you start to unlock some spiritual gems. Then you get to see, oh, what has the Most High been doing in this lineage? What's he been doing with this tribe? What's he been doing with this nation that I'm a part of? Oh, okay. There's so much goodness. If you would just look at your lineage and not hate yourself. Too many Black Americans just blatantly hate themselves and try to be different nations. And it's like, just be content with who you are, because you're created in the image of the Most High. Hair like wool. What? Feet like burned bronze. It's beautiful. It's in his image. There is no other way or look to be. It just is what it is. But if the oppressor has gotten your mind so much that you look in the mirror and deep down you secretly wish you was somebody else, deep down you're like, oh man, you tripping. It's like, it's hard for the Most High to work with that. It's very hard. If you don't love yourself, how can you possibly love him, who you're made in the image of? It's very hard. Almost impossible. I mean, Yahusha himself, who some call Jesus, he says, I couldn't even heal in Judah. They just didn't have faith. He says, how long do I have to be with you, oh, you of little faith? Yes, the storm's here, but I'm right here. I'm right next to you. You see me with you. And they're like, save us, Yehuda. He's, I'm right here. You have little faith. I'm right here next to you. Where's your faith? Where's your authority? Where's your power that Yahusha was crucified for? He sacrificed himself so that you would have power and authority. And we will just sit and be like, Master's the only one with power and authority for me. It's blatant disrespect. It's just sad. It's very sad, but it is what it is. Because even in his times, he just, he had to go on and say, all right, well, I'm going to go to the northern kingdom. After that, all right, I'm going to go to the nations. I'm going to be found by those who weren't even my people. He says, I'm going to provoke you to jealousy with a people that isn't even a people. What can you do with that? That's the scripture. That's what it says. You can believe the scripture or you don't, but the reality of scripture is it's going to stand. No matter what earthquake, what fire, the word of Yahuwah will stand no matter what. And so you better know what he has written for your book of life, because it will stand either way. Doesn't matter who believes it, who don't believe it. The word of the Most High stands. So it would be wise to get yourself on par and say, okay, Father, what are you doing in the earth? Not just what are you doing with me, but how do you view the earth? How do you view what's going on in the world? What's your mindset? What are your thoughts? What do I need to die to that I've been fed through propaganda and Western lies so that I can believe the way that you would have me to believe and see the earth the way you would have me to see it and not the way Uncle Sam would have me to see it? It's a powerful prayer. All you got to do is ask. He'll show you. It's real simple. He'll show you probably super quickly as well, because the times are quick. It's happening fast. But yeah, family, that's it for this video. We have some work to do, some calls tonight. And yeah, y'all be blessed, be discerning, and be happy. Enjoy the journey, because, man, the grass is greener when it's organic. I'll tell you that. When you're not on cursed soil, the grass is much greener.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, shalom.
Yes, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Shalom.
Hi, Gigi.